Welcome to the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 104 of The Joy of Coding. My name's Mike Conley. Same as usual, we're going to be hacking on some Firefox stuff today. It's going to be a great time. Let's dig in. Let me share my screen. Whoop. And let's get to the agenda. Whoop. That's not the agenda. This is the agenda. Today is July 5th. Oh, for any people who were celebrating either, I think the Americans were celebrating the 4th of July yesterday, and Canadians, myself included, were celebrating Canada Day on July 1st. So if you were celebrating anything this past long weekend, or anything recently, well, good for you. Congratulations. I hope whatever you're celebrating was a good one. Okay, so this is the agenda. Reminder, no plan survives breakfast. I'm going to do my best to try and stick to this agenda. I actually haven't even really, filled it out. I copied it from the last agenda. I changed the link to the rating thing down here. I edited a couple things, but I didn't actually, add stuff that I wanted to do today. So I'm going to be making it up as I go. But I should point out that this agenda, is available to you, viewer, beloved viewer. You can go to, if you're watching this on Air Mozilla, scroll down to the additional links section because you'll see a link to this agenda. If you're on YouTube, it should be in the video description. If you're watching this on Facebook, I've pinned a comment just below this video. If you're watching this, it should be in a pinned comment, the agenda. And if you're on Twitch, if you're joining me from Twitch, I'm about to drop a link in the chat right now. Booyah! There's the agenda link. Hey, so there we go. So I'm just a quick self-check. Am I recording? Am I audible? Am I dropping frames? Seem to be okay. Sounds are working. Yep. I've got video working. All right, I feel pretty good about this. Let's just get down to business. I'm going to actually skip all this preamble because I've been doing it for the past couple episodes. You know what? I'm just going to get rid of it. But I do want to do one last plug. Actually, okay. I'm going to do 2 plugs, and then I'm going to get rid of this stuff for the next episode. The first is a new show that I'm doing called The Joy of Profiling, which if you're interested in helping us make Firefox faster, smoother, more reliably quick, there are some things you can try to do to help us. That's called gathering a performance profile if Firefox is being sticky, like if it's janking, if it's like skipping frames and it feels stuttery. You can gather a performance profile and then send them to me. There's a form here where you can submit a profile for analysis, and then I have a show called The Joy of Profiling where myself and some other engineers from within the office here in the Toronto Mozilla office look at the profiles and try and figure out what's going on. And sometimes we find stuff, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we file bugs, sometimes we don't. But we do take a look at every profile that comes in. So please do submit some if you are interested. And you can have your profile analyzed live. Or, well, not live. It's pre-recorded. But you can have your profile analyzed and see the recording. So a thing to keep in mind. The second thing is there's an episode guide to The Joy of Coding. This was something that I started maybe about a month ago. Not too much traffic in here, 10 commits. Yeah, it was 2 months ago that I created this thing, maybe even 3 months ago. And this episode guide doesn't have a whole lot in it, but this is yours. This is a volunteer-driven episode guide. So if you want to submit to the episode guide, if you want to add notes, maybe take what's in the agenda and put it in one of these folders. Maybe you have your own notes, or maybe you want to add keywords to stuff that I was doing, etc., etc. Send a pull request. I am extremely liberal in my accepting of pull requests for this repository, so long as it's not actively harmful or insulting. I'll take it. So do send your pull requests. Excuse me. And that's now we've reached this missing bullet, this bullet of blank space. So what do I want to do? So I want to continue something that I was doing just before this video started, before the Joy of Coding started. I was trying to deal with something. Let me show you a graph. So this is a graph showing Firefox's performance on a certain set of benchmarks, and one of them is this tab switch benchmark. This is actually an internal test, TPS test. If you are a fan of Office Space, we jammed that joke in pretty forcefully, kind of ham-fisted. But this test is one that we are apparently we've regressed on since early, I'm gonna say early May. And I've been investigating that regression. And it turns out, I don't know if you can see this, it's probably pretty dark, and I don't know how big I can make this. No, it seems to be resisting my attempts to make it larger. But this right here is the graph I'm talking about. This one I'm gesturing at. My head's kind of in the way. Let me just move it over here. This graph, and if you'll notice, there's this kind of like vague, there's the line, and the line goes up, and it goes down here. And that line represents Windows 7 32-bit. And that's an important operating system that Firefox supports. And the line goes up and the line goes down. And then around this line, there's this kind of big cloud. And I really can't tell if you can see it or not, but I hope you can. There's this this kind of dark shade around the line. And that shade is actually represents all of the points, all of the data points. And the line is actually I think a 7-day median that's calculated from all those data points. So it's a kind of an attempt to smooth and find some kind of line of best fit for all of these data points. And so what that tells me is this test is really noisy. There's a lot going on, especially like early, it was always pretty noisy. There was a bit of a cloud, but that test got way noisier over here, like really, really noisy. And what I've realized is that makes it very, very difficult when you have a noisy test to determine where a regression comes from, because you have to do so many retriggers, and the noise is just, it's very, very difficult. So the first thing I wanted to do was to reduce the amount of noise in this test, and I figured out how to do it. There's a bug that I'm going to put a link to in the agenda. Find out TPS. So this is the first part. This is bug 1372261. I'm going to put a link in the agenda now. So if you reload the agenda in a second, just give me a quick sec to drop these in. And I think I have my notes. We'll find out where TPS has regressed. Yeah, I'm going to put my notes in there as well. Okay, so if you reload the page after I hit save, so that little spinny's going to go. Spinny's done. Now if you reload your Evernote page, you should have a link to the bug. Find out why TPS has regressed. And one of the things I figured out was that the test was using date.now between processes to calculate like a time differential. So what the test does is it measures it's supposed to measure how much time passes between choosing a tab and actually displaying and presenting the content of the tab. And it does that with a bunch of like websites from the Alexa top 500 that we persisted and cleaned up a little bit back in 2014. And it's called the TP5 set. And so we've chosen like 50 of those pages, and we just measure how long it takes to click on the tab and then present the content. Now the thing is that the content, we know it's presented in the content process, but we know when the click occurs in the parent process. So there's some kind of coordination that needs to happen where we start the stopwatch in the parent and we stop the stopwatch in the child, and that means passing timestamps around. And the way we were doing that before originally was using date.now. And date.now is actually a very poor choice for this because date.now is not monotonic. That means it is not always guaranteed to move forward at a constant rate. I think that's what it means, monotonic. Monotonic clock. I've looked this up before. Clock that ticks out time continuously without any jumps when the user sets the system time. But even then, like even if you're not setting the system time, you need to be able to like deal with the fact that the clock needs to be able to move forward at a consistent rate. And what I was finding was that when you have content process that's also using date.now, those two clocks might go out of sync with one another slightly. Not by much, but enough to add noise to this test. And that increases by the number of content processes you have. So when we look at their dashboard again, this increase in cloud is actually mapped to an increase in the number of content processes. So we had 2 content processes over here, and then I think we started doing 4 up here, and it got really noisy. So the clock skew is what this is sort of called, or clock drift, clock skew. This is something that got worse as we added more content processes. And one way you can get around that is just don't use date.now. We have something better in the performance timing API, which you may or may not be familiar with, but window.performance.now is a better measurement. Although window.performance now measures how long it's been since the page load. So if you want a better measurement, you probably want window.performance navigation start plus, or what was it? Navigation performance dot, maybe it's timing done navigation start. Yeah, timing done. That is a closer approximation of date.now. Like they're actually very similar. If I were to do console.log one and then the other, they're very similar. But this one, the first one, using performance timing, is monotonic, and it's actually, it seems to behave better between processes. And I know this because I pushed it to try, and let's see. You can see where I added the, hang on, I pushed it to try. Yeah, and I want to highlight one particular region. It's right here. So look, these are all the data points of the test, and then there's this kind of like big chunk right here that's kind of blurry, but I'm going to zoom in. So here's all the noise, and then here's the thing I pushed right here. And look, the noise is tightly constrained. And then these are other pushes to try that didn't have my patch, so they get noisy again. So this is what we want. We want the noise to come down because we're not getting the clock drift. So that's good. Now here, that's great. We made the test less noisy. What we wanted to do after that was determine, well, is there actually a regression now? If we've gotten rid of the noise, is there a regression between, say, May 1st and recent build between those two points? Like if we apply the window performance clock skew fix to both builds, is there still a regression? And the answer is yes. So we did a comparison between, like I did the pushes and I did all the needful to make the test happen, and there is still a 6.17% regression. Although that's really, like, that's 1 milliseconds worth, but that's over an average of a bunch of page loads. So who knows? But like, what it tells us is that there's still a regression to investigate. And it doesn't seem to happen everywhere. So these are all the different pages that are loaded, and they seem to happen for some worse than others. Like it happens to Huffington Post, India Times, Mashable, No Impact Man. And it's possible that like this is just this is just a random selection. It's also possible that there's something in common with how these pages work, that we've somehow regressed it. Not sure yet, but that's what we have to find out. So what I've done recently is I pushed a patch to try that got us profiles for, this one, profiles for the May 1st build with a monotonic clock on the TPS test, and I got profiles back, so that's good. So I'm actually gonna put a link there. Profiles from May 1st build with monotonic clock fix. And now I want a profile from today build with monotonic clock fix. And that I have not done yet, and I was trying to do that. I rebased a bunch of patches that I had put on the May 1st build to make this thing work, and it doesn't work. So that's what I want to figure out. Why can't I get, well, because I'm trying it locally. I'm trying to get TPS to run locally, and I'll show you what happens. This takes if you're familiar with me running Talos tests, because I've been doing it for a couple weeks, a couple episodes, This next part takes a little bit of time. And I'm gonna grow this window and then shrink it again so you can see the whole thing. Apparently I've dropped like 1.2% of my frames. Sorry about that, if you've been watching this. So here, it just kind of sits here. And I don't know why. I don't have any clues why that is. It just kind of sits here. So that's what I want to find out. Why is it just sitting there? And I think I have an idea of how I can figure this out. One thing that I know about Talos is that there's this like command line config thing. Talos command line that computes the command line to maybe it's config. Talos config computes the command line that will spawn the browser with. It's not that one. Yeah, it's not this one. So let's take a look inside the Talos directory actually. Talos, not the test. I'm talking about actual Talos here. There's, yeah, config.py. This is the one. And we get the browser config, and we also get, where is it? Where is it? It's not command line. Is it run test Talos process? Talos can, I think we were just looking at that. One of these things like run browser, not quite. It's utils.py, that's the one. It generates the browser command line. I'm actually going to add something to the browser command line. I'm going to add JS debugger. And that should, if I understand this whole thing correctly, open up another window which allows me to see the browser console, and if there are any like JavaScript errors, I'll be able to see them, because that's what I suspect is happening here. I've done something wrong. There's a JavaScript error in my rebase, and so we're going to find out, hopefully. Nope. Can't, because apparently I need to get these prefs set to something. Okay, so I need to set these prefs. I'm going to do that. And there's like a default preference set. And that's these. So what the? Why'd the light turn off? I need the motion sensor in this room to detect me, so I'm actually going to move a thing. I'm going to move some furniture so it can see me. So it can see me flail around. Alright. Remote enabled needs to be true. And DevTools Chrome enabled also needs to be true. Okay, so let's try that again. It didn't work. Because my syntax is wrong for some reason. What's wrong? Oh, I need a comma here. That was actually a preemptive Price is Right. I just was playing it for fun, but it was like the perfect timing because things went wrong. Boop, 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 boop. Getting a lot of Talos stuff. Okay. And then, okay, here, the JS debugger is now running. Aha! So, that's why. PageLoader.js, I accidentally used yield instead of probably await. So that was on line 458. That's my clue. Line 458 of PageLoader.js, where I was hacking around. I screwed up. So we can get rid of these now. I can get rid of my change here. And where am I going? I'm going to PageLoader. Yeah, this should be await, not yield. Okay. Now let's try it again. And if this works, if it actually starts loading the test, I'm actually going to cancel it again because I don't want to have it run like the whole thing. I want it to just like do it once, and that way, and maybe not even the whole set. I just want to see what'll happen if. Okay, so it appears to be working. Yeah, and let's see if it starts the tab switching. Okay, it is. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to change the test to only run class TPS. Only do one run for now. And I'm going to have it do only a few. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do like a couple of pages. Just like that many. What I was just showing you there is the list of pages that it's loading from the TP5 set. Why is that stuck in my head?
That's right!
And if this works, then I'm going to push this to try to hopefully get profiles that I can examine and compare against the ones from the May 1st build. And then hopefully I'll be able to see what the difference is. You never know, maybe this won't help at all, but this is probably our best bet, at least for the short term, for getting things right. I don't know if you saw, there was like a Twilight IMDb page. There it is. Interesting. So dated. Okay, and the... Is it done? Did it finish? So that's a bug still. Why isn't it? Oh, this is interesting. I wonder if it's the same bug I was seeing before. So there's this bug where we have this async profile gatherer thing. Oh, it's gone now. Don't save. Where is the profile gatherer? In gather profiles. Profile started, profile stopped. I need like, what's the exit profile? Yeah, NS profiler. And exit profiles. If we receive a shutdown profile, okay. And if we're gathering, so this is a bug, I think, what we were just seeing, and I'm going to now try and fix it. And what was happening is that whenever a content process exits before we've actually, like, there's a little bit of a race where content process will be in the midst of shutting down while the parent has said, okay, I want to gather profiles, and then the exiting content process will send up its profile, and the parent will go, okay, great, and store it, but it won't decrease the number of profiles that it's waiting for. So if m gathering, what I'm thinking is that we want to say gathered OP profile, a profile, return. Yeah, I think that's right. Pending profiles. Profiles.length. Start gathering. Profiles.length. Start processes. What is profiles? Profiles is Okay, well, let's see if this fixes it anyways. Mac build binaries. Because that's what fixed it before on the May 1st build. And if it does, then I'm going to want to push that, or put a patch up probably and file a bug. But we'll see. While we're waiting, I want to show you something kind of... Oh, it's done. Never mind. But I do want to show you something kind of neat. There's a new animation in Firefox Nightly for whenever you pin something to this little overflow menu. Let me show you. I'm going to pin this web developer tool. Check it out. Aw, you missed. Aw, Talos. Talos overtook me. Well, alright, we'll wait. Good things come to those who wait. So I've been told. So it does this warm-up round to preload all the caches, and then bum 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 ba-dum bum bum bum. No? Huh, not the bug. Not the bug. What's the problem? Okay. Let's try and close the loop a little bit here. So PageLoader, whenever it finishes, it's supposed to say, why is this erroring out? Because it's never heard of Talos parent profile before? Trust me, it exists. What if I get rid of that? Maybe it's because there are two. I'm guessing there. I mean, so I've been hacking around trying to make the Talos thing, profiling thing work, and so I'm using a lot of kind of instinct and my remembrance, my memory of things that have been broken before. If you're wondering why I'm just making like a random decision to remove that set of lines, it's because I'm following my gut instinct here. That may or may not be the right call. We're about to see. We're about to get some data. So that's going to do its thing. I want to show you that animation I was talking about. Okay, watch this little like arrow thing. I'm going to highlight this. We're going to pin this to the overflow menu. Boop! Little animation happened there. That was fun. Yeah, it was a nice little animation. That's there's still work to do. There are going to be more animations coming real soon. Hey, and that worked. That exited. And let's see what happens. Do we get a profile out of it? I think we should.
Hey, what happened? I can't do my work.
Okay, there we go. And we got our profile right there. Let's take a look at it, make sure it makes sense. Cycle 0, 8.7 megs. That sounds promising. Yes, this looks right. Okay, good. So, that means that the bug that I was worried about in the profile gathering is actually not, it doesn't exist in a recent build. It's not a problem in a recent build. And that's good because that means I don't have to fix it. Alright, we're going to undo that change. What other change had I done? Right, I don't want to undo that. Revert that. We're going to revert this change. We're actually going to revert that change too. So we're going to revert a lot of stuff. Revert that and that. The only thing we're actually going to keep is this PageLoader change that fixed the stuff. Then I'm going to push that to try, and then we're going to move on. We're going to wait for that to cook on try. So the only change should be the PageLoader stuff. Yep. So amend. And the actual try syntax I want is that's good. This is all cooking nicely. I want something like this, except I want to use an artifact build. Okay. Push to try. TPS profiling build with monotonic clock on recent MC. Try on Windows, none. Then we're running doing the G2E10S, Moz harness, gecko profile, rebuild it 5 times, artifact. Do it! Yeah!
Okie dokie.
Come on.
I don't think so.
Come on. Push to try.
Oh, wow, 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 wow. Mamma mia.
Just playing sounds and wearing sunglasses. Alright, I'll take the sunglasses off. Looks silly. And once this is done, hey! Alright, got our try build going. That'll cook. Who knows? That might even be... Well, I'm doubtful that that stuff will be ready by the time this episode's done, but maybe. But here we go. There's the link. And so this is now blocked on try builds, this work. So that's done. We're going to move on to something else now. So what do I want to work on next? Well, in a similar vein, there's another engineer named, well, I'll tell you his IRC nick. I think it's NHN, oh boy, it's NHNT11, who's been working, I don't know if you noticed this, there's like this dark coloring behind the tab strip on OS X. And that's pretty recent. And there's this engineer, NHNT11, has been working on that. And this isn't actually the final form. The final form, let me actually show you by showing you. I think I can do better than that. But it's, the change is, let's see here. Let's see what's this. Background. Okay. So currently we're using this background color, I believe. And what I think we want to do, vibrancy, if I remember correctly. Moz parent, yeah, Moz Mac vibrancy light. So I think what we want to do is actually this, but vibrancy dark. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Let me just build that. So this is just like a solid color. Nothing too special about that solid color. It just sits there. And what Moz Mac vibrancy dark does is, well, okay, I think I got the rule wrong. Yeah, I got the rule wrong. Sorry. That's not what I meant to do. I got the background color. Where's the background color? Window. Tabs toolbar. Where's the background color of the tabs toolbar? Let me look it up. This is an OSX log. Nihant added. Color the title bar. Tab strip inside the title bar. Here, root, this thing, 232323. This is the color. This is what we want to have Moz, Mac, Vibrancy, Dark. Right? Moz, Mac, Vibrancy, Dark, yeah. And not have a background color set. Let me build that and show you what that looks like. Am I still streaming? What's happening here? YouTube is saying that my live stream is offline. Should I believe it? That the stream is complete? What? Am I even streaming still? Am I on the internet? Hello? Oh no. Well, yeah, apparently I'm still streaming. Yep. I don't know what YouTube's talking about. And Twitch. Apparently I'm still good. So, I don't know. I guess some kind of network event. Apparently I've dropped a bunch of frames. Sorry about that. I hope this isn't super fragmented. Anyways, I'm just going to keep going. So this is what we want here. There's this like title bar, or the tab strip is, we want to kind of have this semi-translucent background where it's not exactly like glass, like the Windows Aero glass stuff, but it like takes a hint about how to color itself by what's behind it. So like if, for example, I don't know, I were to open a new window, there's like, notice there's kind of like this shade of color changes with the background that's shifting behind it. Like, I don't know if you can really detect that, but there's like, but the color changes in the title bar. Hopefully you can see that. So that's what we want. That's what we're trying to ship, but there's a Talus regression and we need to figure it out. And the Talus regression was actually in this test called TScroll, and we need some profiles. So that's what we're going to find. We're going to get next. Profiles. Man, now Twitch says I'm offline. This is crazy. Is anyone able to see me? I think I was dropping some frames and that upset everything. Twitch says I'm offline. Man. Sorry, folks. Sorry. I'm still supposed to be streaming. I still seem to be streaming, so I'm just going to go ahead. So now we need to get some profiles, and we have to do it in automation. TScroll X regression. This is the regression that I think Nihant was dealing with. They backed it out. They got TScroll. It was, sorry, TP50 scroll. That's what we need to investigate. TP50 scroll. That's the one that got a little bit worse. So let's see if we can cause that. Like, let's. Do I have the change? Yes, I have the change locally. We're going to do mock Talos test a TP50 scroll, and we're going to do gecko profile symbols path. I'm going to point it smack at my symbols path. Let's see if it likes that. Now, why does Twitch say I'm offline? Come on. Seriously? I'm definitely still on the internet. But apparently I've dropped like 10 of my frames. This is crazy. I shouldn't be like using Wi-Fi. I should be using the wired internet here. I should definitely not be using Wi-Fi. If I turn off my Wi-Fi, hopefully this doesn't kill everything. Okay. Didn't kill everything. And look, TP50 scroll is happening. That's good. What I would like to do though. Oh, Smurf D says, otherwise, why are you seeing an issue with stream? Because Airmo seems laggy. Yeah, thanks, Smurf D. Yeah, OBS is reporting that I'm dropping frames like crazy today. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Might be better to watch the recording when this is over. Sorry about that. Network. Gonna network. Okay, so this is great in that the test is running, but I want to see whether or not we can actually get useful profiles from it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say TP50 scroll. I want you to do, instead of 12 page cycles, let's do 1 page cycle. And we're going to use TP5 and TP50 manifest. We're only going to load 3 pages. We're going to do these 3 pages. We'll do no download so you don't overwrite it. Okay. Why can't I stream properly today? Now the sounds won't work. Man. Alright, so TP50 scroll is doing its thing. We're going to see if it is smart enough to spit out a profile when this is all done. We're going to take a look at the... Okay, so it's done. This is the part that's always a bit tricky. Will it be able to spit out a profile? Yes, yes it did. It did spit out a profile. And I'm curious about like what this profile is going to look like. Just like what, oh good, it's splitting them out by, oh great, by page. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, so if I open this up, I should see all the different pages. Yeah, 56. Yeah, that's what I want. And then the different cycles. Good. Or not Cleopatra, I want perf.io. Good. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, so we're going to put that stuff back. We're going to say instead, we're going to do 12 page cycles. Let's actually do 5. But I'm going to do an interval, that size, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. That should be enough in terms of profiler entries. Hopefully it's enough. Okay, so now I'm going to, this is, what changes did I just make? That's what I want to know. What are the sum, what's the sum total? So I've got the patch to add vibrancy, and I just changed the number of cycles and some of the sampling stuff. So that's good. What I'm going to do is actually, yeah, I'm going to push that right now. So we're going to do try, and it was on OS X only. That's what I care about. I can do an artifact build, opt only. I want to do TP50 scroll. That's where? G1. We're going to profile. On an artifact build, OSX, TP50 scroll. Good. Okay, so push to try, tabs, toolbar with vibrancy. And I'm going to undo the vibrancy thing, and I'm also going to push that to try, and then we'll be able to compare them. And then I got to find something else for us to do, because that's another thing off the list. Let's see how the rest of our try pushes are doing. I've got some other tests that are running, and that's doing all right. This build that we pushed earlier is only 13 minutes old, so that's going to take quite a while. Except that it's an artifact build, so maybe not too long. But still, take a while. Great. Great. So this is our with vibrancy revision. I actually have a automation profiles with vibrancy without. So I'm going to undo the vibrancy check. Also, this TPS stuff, this should be in a different note. Delete this note. It should be in here. So I'm going to undo this OSX change. Without vibrancy. Or I'm going to call it baseline. I'll push that, let that cook. I'm going to see that little animation again. Ready? What do I want to pin? How about this bookmarks icon? Whoop! Yay! Oh, that's a nice little bouncy animation. And what's nice about it is that it is GPU accelerated, which means that when it's happening, assuming that the GPU is not bogged down with stuff, it should run very smoothly at 60 frames per second. It should be a very smooth animation, which I'm very pleased about. Hey, okay, so we've got this other revision pushed now. And I should probably I'm going to update this with this. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's recap. I'm going to go back to our agenda here. Find out why TPS has regressed, and then there's this bug here, the TP50 scroll one, and that one we've got cooking, and I've got links to that in here, which you can follow along with if you'd like. So there's some notes there. Let that save. What's the next thing that we're going to do? You know, I'll bet I was actually accidentally on the Wi-Fi, which is why I was dropping so many frames before. But now that I've turned the Wi-Fi off, I can't find Wacky Morning DJ. That's why my sound stopped working. I think that's what happened. Let me just get back on the internet. Hold up. What's my IP address? This is important. These sounds are super important. That's why I'm spending time doing this. I should just have like some kind of DNS service. Did it work? I'll tell you.
It's me, Mario.
It sure did. Okay. So, right. What are we going to work on next? Well, let me take a quick look at this other list that I've got. We had that test that we were working on a while back for the URL bar that we might want to go back to. That might be a good idea. I've got all these things that I'm supposed to be doing that. Test. What do I want to do? Yeah, let's go back to that test we were working on. Especially because I have a new utility. Well, okay. Let me sort some things out in my head for a second here. Browser, menu, reflows.js. Has the change that heist landed already landed? It has not. Or if it has, it's not here yet. Log. Oh, it has landed. It's just SearchFox hasn't updated yet. Okay. Okay. So there is something I want to look at. I'm going to sign into my Linux desktop, beast mode. Whoops. Epic long password, and then let's see where I'm at. Right, so I've got this thing to help make dirty roots less hacky. Dirty root fix. I'm going to pull from central and rebase. 49120, don't need that anymore. Pull, central, rebase. Then I'm going to build, and that'll actually not take too long, I don't think, because as I understand it, I'll be able to use the ice cream build stuff on whenever I'm on Linux. This should be a nice, quick build. The ice cream stuff is like we have this cluster of machines in the office, and on particular operating systems, Linux, we support distributed builds. So I'm going to build with like 100 different cores on like couple dozen different machines right now, and this should be pretty fast. Although it said nothing to rebase. What? I'm pretty sure that I had some work just checked out. Oh, dirty root fix. That's what I wanted to rebase. Okay. Cool. All right, let's build that with J100. So that's going to be a hopefully very quick build. This should only take a minute or two. YouTube, the stream seems to be live. That's nice. Twitch is down. I don't know what to do about Twitch. Twitch is like very unforgiving about my stream quality. It's saying that like I'm down for the count, I guess. I don't know what to do about that. My dashboard says I'm down. I have no sense of signal here. I have no viewers. No one watching. And then Facebook, I still seem to be okay. Although it's really choppy, it looks like. I've dropped far fewer frames in the past little while since turning off the Wi-Fi. So I think that's what was happening, is I was on the Wi-Fi and that's the problem. I should make sure that the Wi-Fi is off next time I do this sort of thing. Rupadoo, rupadoo. What can we do while we're waiting for that build? Well, I could show you some other stuff that's been happening recently, just because this is going to be done like very quickly. So I don't want to start a problem or a project or anything. But like, notice how in customize mode, I can now remove things from that overflow menu. And then if I remove everything, there's this little tier, like, I love this. This is like, I love puns. I love puns a lot. This, if you're curious about what this creature is, it kind of looks like a raindrop, kind of might be some kind of mythical creature, like a dragon. This is a dragon drop.
What happened?
A dragon drop.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
And you can drag and drop
That's right.
stuff into the little overflow here. And it's a little buggy still, like that scroll bar at the bottom definitely shouldn't be there, but we'll fix that before we ship it. And whenever you don't have anything in there, whenever you don't have anything in the overflow, it doesn't appear. But notice how, like, that's kind of neat. When the window squeezes shut enough, we get the little, like, animation occurring. That's kind of neat. And then it goes away again. Neato. Neato. Also, another thing you may or may not have noticed, I think this is pretty cool, is that there's now, you probably can't see this at the bottom, there's this density control. And I've got it on compact. I like compact, but there's also, this is like default density in the toolbar. And then you can also switch to compact, which I thought was pretty nice. The if you have a touch screen, it's also possible to have like touchscreen mode, but you have to do that if you don't actually have a touch screen. You can do that in about config by switching browser.ui density to, I believe it's 2. Everything's humongous. Everything's got like a bunch of padding around it for touchscreen folk. But let me just switch my density the way I want it using the UI. Compact. Great. Hey, I thought this build was supposed to be fast, I can hear you saying. I agree. What's the dealio? Why is this taking so long? Well, in its defense, this machine, Beast Mode, is attempting to compile. Beast Mode and all the other machines in the office are trying to compile something like 15 million lines of C++ and a bunch of Rust. So, give it a break. It's doing its best. While we're waiting for that, let's babysit our try build, see how they're doing. Oh, good. The OSX builds actually finished very quickly because those are artifact builds. It only takes 5 minutes. But the actual tests themselves have not started yet. They're queued up. There's probably a backlog. These are lower priority jobs. So these are going to probably take a while to actually just run. And this is nice. The build for the TPS stuff that we did right at the very beginning, that is a non-artifact build. And that, oh no, it is an artifact build. That completed in 19 minutes. And now the tests are running with the gathering the profiles and stuff. That might take a little while. How long did it take over here? It took something like only 17 minutes. We might actually get profiles before the end of this video. 7 minutes we're at. So maybe 10 minutes or so we'll have some profiles we can look at to try and figure out what's going on with TPS. That'll be nice. So, got half an hour. I'm waiting for this build to finish. Oh, we're linking libzool now. We're almost done. Libzool is like one of the last steps. So I said 2 minutes. Unfortunately, that was inaccurate. I lied to you. It's been closer to 6 minutes, I'd say, or 6.5. So quite a difference from what I had originally said. I apologize. That's classic software engineer estimation.
Mamma mia!
you get some sounds out of it. What's some ones I haven't played in a while?
Here we go!
Okay, build's done. And what I wanted to do was run. I have to do this with the display because this is a virtual machine without an actual display. I have to run it on a VNC display. Mock, Moki test, browser-based content test, performance browser, app menu, reflows. That's what I wanted to run. See if it likes that. Bum 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 bum. Good. Let's run it. Let's repeat it. Let's repeat it 5 times and make sure that it's running consistently. Bum 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 bum. Seems to be. Oh, unexpected fail. I guess that kind of unexpected fail. You know what? That might be due to caching, actually. On the first time you open up a window or open up a menu panel, I wonder if that's why we only sometimes fail. So let's only run it once. And if we run it once, it seems to pass. What I want to do actually is get rid of a sort of a workaround that was put in the code to see if my new like dirtying backend is working properly, and we'll fix it. So app menu. So there was this workaround that Heist put in right down here. I'm gonna not skip. And it was reporting that we were skipping, right? If I do. How do I function of 7? There we go. It was reporting that I was skipping, right? Skipping, yeah, it skipped the remote tabs button. Okay, so now we're not skipping. Let's see if this passes. Okay, it doesn't, and that's okay because there are these known regressions, these known reflows that are occurring. So let's do that again. Hey, all right. Now let's run it. Let's run it a couple of times and make sure that like we get consistent results. Then we'll push it to try. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. So let's. Because bugs in Zool layout relating to multi-line text and scroll containers, we manually read their heights in order to ensure container heights are correct. Scratch choosing reflows. If we add more views to where this is necessary, we may need to use expect reflows further. Because the test use the frame tree manipulating margins to get back and climb around. The description of workaround seems to sometimes fire multiple times. Change how the tester uses the frame tree after this two hits in that method should become deterministic when we enable the subview testing for the remote tab subview. Okay. We can remove this comment actually. We're going to get rid of this hack around, this workaround. Sorry, what was the, I've lost the bug number. So, commit, bug, re-enable. Reflow app menu, reflow tests for sync subview. I've got heist, look at that, but let's, no space left on device. Oh no! If I max out the hard drive on this thing, that could be already. It's crazy. What can I do to free it up? Can't get rid of Cedar. Did I have an obster in here? No. Mozilla Central. Bill with. What kind of obsters do I have in here? Just have the one. This is crazy. I gotta somehow free up hard drive space. What am I gonna do? Downloads? Like what? Documents? Where's all my... Like, I guess I don't need this build of Nginx that I had originally downloaded a while back. That's like all I can think of. Trash. Do I have it like a trash bin that I can free? Well, geez, might be mildly screwed. Let's see here. Okay, that worked. I'm gonna have to deal with this later. Push to try. Let's push this all to try now. And this is something that I can't do with artifact builds because I've added all of this like API stuff. So Linux, Windows, OS X, both debug and non-debug, I guess. Let's do with ETNS and without. Dirtying frame tree API with app menu sync subview test re-enabled. Push to try. How are these TPS tests going? We're at 16 minutes. We might only be minutes away from profiles coming out of this. That's what I'm hoping for. Only minutes away. Job not complete. We're at 17 minutes. It could be any time now. Stuff might be uploading. Who knows? That's very exciting. Oh, wow. There's a lot of breakage over here. That's interesting. And this other thing I was working on. What could this be all about? In debug mode. Some kind of spinner here. Is it an assertion failure? It is an assertion failure. That's why I'm failing. That's interesting. Finish assert in 4146. So this is a different thing I was working on that this was before I started the video. I might have to look at that later. I'd really like to get the we got that's one that's got a profile. Good. Maybe we should look at just that right now. Let's take a look. Let's look at the log and see what the scores were on TPS. Unfortunately, when you collect a profile on TPS, the scores are not published to Perforator for some reason. So on the May 1st build, I'm just going to pick one at random. So goods on the left, bads on the right. Good being the May 1st build, and bads on the right. We're just going to look at some scores here. One of the things I remember is that Reuters, Huffington Post and Reuters were two of the ones that had gotten worse. So this is the good one, 18, 16, 17, 19. So 16, 17, 18, 19 essentially. And then Huffington Post down here is what? Yeah, quite a bit worse. Quite a bit worse over here. That's good. And in particular, the fourth run is really bad. Okay. Okay. Yes. So let's take a look at this. I'm gathering right now the good profiles. I'm going to take let's take the fourth one. Yeah, 19. So it's downloading right now, the profile. And we're just trying to look at the difference between Huffington Post, between the good and the bad build, and see if we can understand what has happened. Okay, so this is, once again, this is the good build. I'm going to take cycle 0, page cycle 0. And this is good. Perf, page cycle 0. No, wait, I don't want page cycle 0. No. No, I don't want page cycle 0. I don't want it. I wanted page cycle 4. Because I want to kind of compare apples and apple-ish apples. So a later run. So goods on the left. And now we're going to take a bad one. The bad one was here. This is what we were looking at before, right? It starts with F-O-D-O. F-O-D-O, that's right. Okay, so we're going to look at which build? Like the fourth one, or the fourth cycle, if we can. So this is good. I'm going to share this and upload it. Okay, now I have a URL here that I can put inside. Let me gather a couple things here. So in the good, we have good. We have that, and we're taking presumably that, and then today. Oh, and that was this. This is the good one. Try push. I'm just trying to clean this up a little bit. Okay, and then from today, the scores were much worse. Boop, boop. We're going to be looking at that. And the download is complete. We're looking at cycle 4 if we can. Cycle 4. And what's interesting is there's only one content process. Except I know that it runs with more than one content process. Each one of it's like it only gathered one content process. Is Huffington Post in there? Huff. Damn it! No, it's not. Okay. Well, what's in there? Shoot. Shoot. Sorry for swearing. What painted? I've got like Homeway. Are any of these things similar in their behavior? Ah, I got Reuters in there. That's good. Mashable, Imgur. Okay, let's see if Reuters was similar in its scoring. Reuters. So in good, it was 23, 18, 19, 19. And in bad, it was still okay. 15, 27, 15, 17, 18. That's still pretty good. Okay. What else we got? Let's go back to the top. Homeway. Let's look at Homeway. Where's Homeway? This isn't any kind of order. Homeway. So in good, it was 33, 39, 32, 41. In bad, 35, 27, 22, 33, 26. That's still the same-ish. Okay, Ewell. Let's look at Ewell. 33, 35, 23, 23. Ah, they're roughly very similar. Numbers are very similar, not stark like before. Main.ru or mail.ru. How about that? Is that slightly different? And this might be a clue. Like maybe it's restricted to the performance problem might be having to do with one of the processes. Just one of the processes just behaves weirdly. 25, 36, 29, 30, 28. 36, that's kind of high in the bad case. And there's a 20, there's a 33. It's not huge. Okay, so maybe mail.ru. How about CNN? 29, 24, 26, 22 in the good case. Pretty similar. Todu. 20. Very similar. Or I did Reuters. How about Globo? Very 7. No, it's very similar. Guardian. Five, 18, 19, 32. Similar. Mashable. This is even in this list. Mashable. Mashable, yeah. 1921, 1818. There is a 25 here, but I don't know. I was looking for something a little more stark. How about Imgur? Imgur? In the good case, we get up to 32. In the bad case, it's not much different. Google. The Goog. 1919, 25, 20. That's a little worse. That's quite a bit worse, actually. 2 30s in a row. Okay, we might have something here. The average was 20.75. The average over here is 27. So we might have some signal here. Well, let's take a look at the second cycle. The second cycle, and look at Google. So the second cycle for the bad case. Oops. No, don't open it. Second cycle for the bad case. We're going to go to okay, and there should be a google.com in here. Yep, there it is. And we want the later one when we are actually recording. And then, so let's record these values. Good case. So we did fourth and bad case, or second bad case. Yeah, second bad case. Let's get second good case to compare them. And the URL is here. Uploading. So that was very monotonous, and I'm sorry that kind of sucked a little bit, but hopefully now we have something we can compare. Okay, so now we're going to get rid of that, but good case, we're going to say, wait, where was it was, which folder was it? It was number 2, I think. So I'm going to just unzip it again, because I lost the reference. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what do we want? We want the second one. Okay. Okie dokie. So the question is, how come Google.com apparently renders faster in the old version, the old with the old build rather than the new one? Let's try and find out. So we can get rid of some noise here. 2, 3, and 4 we don't need. Keep the compositor around. And let's compare. Compare and contrast. So this is where the test probably starts. I believe the test finishes on the next composite after the paint, so that should be actually here. And that's 21 milliseconds. In the bad case, is that correct? It should be 31 milliseconds, so maybe it's here. Yeah. Composite. Yeah, because this composite happened just before this rasterize completed. Okay. And then in the good case, the next rasterize is here. That's why. So that's why it's a little off. We're off by a frame because this was a composite that was kind of already happening. There's like, for some reason, a composite is occurring even though there's no paint that has completed in between. That's very interesting. Let's take a quick look. Let's zoom in again. So, hang on, I'm actually going to back up a sec. Paint occurs there very quickly. Do a layer transaction. And then we composite. Meanwhile, another one of these is set up and a layer transaction occurs. And we composite again. These are long composites. Over here, there are fewer, I'll notice. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are all these composites that are occurring during the garbage collection. In the good case, and in the bad case, there are fewer. Why are these composites taking so long? Because we're waiting for the GPU. Five milliseconds here. 5 milliseconds almost. 4.8, 4.9, 4.9. In the good case, they're like 5.2, 5.13, and then like we're free and clear after that. So I think this is a matter of, maybe this isn't surprising, it's a matter of timing. Like we're off by almost 16 milliseconds, and that makes sense. That we've fallen off a little cliff here, where I guess for this paint here, there's a paint happening right there. A rasterization is occurring for some reason. Is this... How long is that? Is that a second? At 19 milliseconds. What's painting? What could be possibly be painting in that time? Maybe I should do this with paint flashing just to check what's happening in between the tab switches. But here's what it looks like to me. Paint here, and then composite on VSync. Meanwhile, paint is occurring up here, and then the composite for it happens on VSync over here, and then the paint happens here, and so it's like there's a slanting going on. Paint, composite, paint, composite, paint, composite, paint. Also paint the stuff that we care about right here. Composite, parent paints again, and then this composite is the one that ends up compositing what we care about. This one. So we're off by about, like we're out a little bit. And this paint takes a little bit longer. 9.60 milliseconds. 8.69 milliseconds. So that pushes us out a little bit. Maybe let's take a look at that really quickly. Is there anything in this composite that, or in this painting that is kind of weird? 9 milliseconds to paint. 10 milliseconds to paint. We really don't have a high enough resolution to say with any degree of certainty what's going on. Draw in some text. 3 milliseconds to draw text. Can't really say. So the actual painting itself doesn't seem to be too off. It's just this, what is this thing that's painting is my question. Like that seems to be noisying the test. This thing that's painting during the garbage collection phase. Let's see if we can run TPS locally. With paint flashing. Hang on. I think I've got some stuff that I want to shelve. Meanwhile, how's the other try build going? Just running. This is failing out pretty hard. Need to investigate that. This I'm going to shelve. I don't need that until maybe some other time. Push. So wait, hold on. I want to do mock talos test a TPS. I don't want a gecko profile, but what I want is paint flashing. TPS. Give me that paint flashing. What's the pref for paint flashing? That one. True. Just paint flashing in the parent. Let's take a look. It's in a book. Reading Conley. Should probably have some reading rainbow sounds here.
You are?
Okay. So if this looks a little bit funny, that's intentional. We're doing paint flashing now. Oh, look. Look what we're doing. We're like doing all this tab scrolling stuff. At the top here, we're smooth scrolling all those tabs. That's probably adding noise. That's probably adding a ton of noise. Okay. Yeah, that's probably adding a ton of noise. So what we have to do is make it so those things never paint. Now I'm pretty sure there's a change already in tab switch bootstrap to try and hide the tabs toolbar. Like there's a visibility hack. We don't want to catch scrolling a tab strip in our tests, so we set it to visibility hidden. And yet we're still painting it? So maybe it shouldn't be. Hey, let me try this locally. Turn on paint flashing. We're gonna set the visibility to hidden. We still paint it. Okay. So tab container. How about tabs toolbar? Element by ID tabs toolbar. Style visibility equals hidden. Still paints. That's very interesting. Why that would still paint. Visible. I'm just gonna undo that. When stuff's visibility hidden, it's not supposed to paint anymore, right? Why would visibility hidden stuff still paint? That might be a bug. Hey, I'm gonna ask someone in IRC. Check me here. When something is visibility hidden, has visibility. Validate, repaint it. That scrolls, right? Just gonna ask a question in IRC. So I'm just gonna ask some of our fine graphics and layout folks about whether or not it's possible for us to I mean, maybe there's a way I can just hide the tab strip entirely. Like maybe we should paint the parts that are newly brought into view, but not the rest. Even if the whole thing is visibility hidden. Interesting. Okay, so Marcus Stanga is saying that nothing should be repainted because if I have a scrollable tab strip and then set the tab container to hidden in the toolbox and then open tabs while doing paint flashing, I see a bunch of painting happening in the strip even though nothing's being displayed. I'm live hacking in York Mills if you want a demonstration, non-obligatory. So I may or may not. Oh, Marcus is working from home today. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'll file a bug. Is this something I'd point? Do you know who I'd point this at? Do you hold someone from layout? Graphics? Matt Woodrow is always a good guess. Okay, thanks. All right, so that's interesting. We might have the solution to our mystery, even though it's another mystery. Why does the tab strip paint when it's hidden? Like nothing's going on up there. And yet, look, we're painting this stuff. We're just painting and moving it, and it's empty. It's all this empty stuff. And that, I think, is the bug. All right. You know what? On that note, I think I'm going to call it. Thank you so much for watching The Joy of Coding. If you're interested in this bug, like about the painting and stuff, I'm going to link to it from the my notes in bug 1372261. I'll probably also mention it in the bug itself. So if you want to follow along with what's going on in that next bug, I'll be opening and pointing our graphics folk at. Hey, thank you so much for watching episode 104 of The Joy of Coding. I hope that was interesting. I know we kind of hopped around a lot, and if you were watching the live stream, that was probably not super enjoyable because it looks like I dropped a bunch of frames. But maybe this recording will make up for it. And I played a lot of sounds.
I can't. I can't do my work.
So hopefully that makes up for it. Thanks for watching The Joy of Coding. I'll be back next week with episode 105. I'll see you then. Let me just boop. Take care. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.